Hi everyone, welcome to my extra professional YouTube video. I say that with sarcasm. I am here to show you the tutorial on how to do these very simple dock rock paintings and what I use. I get the rocks from a landscape supplier now, and I paint the background either satin black or matte black. You'll see, I know a lot of people have been using these apple barrel acrylic paints because they're really cheap. If you go to Walmart, they're 50 cents inside the Walmart, and if you order them for pickup or for delivery, they're more expensive. So even if you order for pickup where you go to Walmart, they're still more expensive than if you go in. The matte blacks are 50 cents. The satin ones I think are a little bit more. It might be like 75 cents. Don't quote me on this. I'm not promoting these items. This is just what I happen to be using because it's what I happen to use. So for the background, I'm going to show you it with the matte black, and hopefully you could see the difference between the matte black and the satin black. This one, the pink one, is satin black. This one with the blue and pink dots is matte black. It's easier for me to do the tutorials with the matte black, and then later, and it's actually cheaper, and later I do glaze them. I do put a gloss over them so it turns glossy anyways, and I find that the matte, which is the cheaper one, goes on smoother. So it's up to you. I put the gloss on afterwards. It's a little less glossy, this one, but I like it because there's not as much glare too. So I go with the cheaper one. I like it better. So here's, and these ones are simple. You can get as complex as you want. But I'll just start from the beginning. And the paint markers that I use to do the dots are these paint pens, the oil-based. I got a package of 12. I think you could buy these at Walmart as well. I got these from Amazon, 12 of them, because I had already tried them and I decided that I liked them. And they are the Stelle Art Supplies. I probably butchered their name, ASTLE, and these ones are the medium tip. I have used the Sharpie pens, the regular size, and I like these better. And I've also used the fine tip Sharpie pens. I do not suggest the fine tip for any rock painting because the ink in the fine tip doesn't flow very well at all. So my suggestion is to not waste your money on that one. But that's just me. Everyone's got their own way and their own opinion. So what doesn't work for me might work for someone else. So what I do is I start off a little bit higher than halfway up, and I start my first dot. Now I have to actually make it a little bit bigger than what the marker makes, the paint marker makes. So you just do small little circular motions, and I follow it with 5 white dots around it, then another row of dots in between each of those 5, and then I do, now that's how much it is if you just put dots. That's how much it, pen, they're very small. If you just point the tip, that's how I start. Sometimes it's easy, I don't know for anybody else, sometimes I think it's easy to get lost as to which one the center is. So sometimes I'll take a color and I'll mark the center so that when I'm going around doing the dots, it's easier to visualize where I am as I go around. So the reason why I start off with white is because I think the other color paints against the black show up significantly better. And you can see pink against the white. Versus if I do just pink on plain black. You can see the difference. I guess there's not much difference. Maybe you don't need to do it with the white beforehand. I'm still going to do it. That one has to go a little bit thicker. This is thinner amount of paint. So I used this amount of paint on the white, and this amount of paint is more. So I think that's why it's turning out darker. So it'll take longer to dry and it might be a little more drippy and smudgy. So I'm going to keep with doing the white first. So the first 5 round I'm going to do pink. And while that dries, I'm going to take the white and make a stem by putting a line. And then an oval and another oval for the shapes of the leaves. And I like to take them off of the stem and not connect them because the petals of the flowers aren't connected and it kind of goes with the theme. These ones I did connect. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You can see this one that I started, I didn't. You could pick the shape. Oval, circles, whatever works easiest for you. Now I'm going to take I'll do purple. First layer is pink. Purple. I'll fill those in. Now I'm going to grab some green. Now when you first get these markers, in order to get them going, the paint, you actually have to push the tip in by pressing down on the tip all the way, and then it starts to bleed into it, and every now and then to get them started again, if you haven't used them a little for a bit, you have to do that again. Just kind of like push it down a little. But when you're actually painting the rock, I don't suggest pushing it down on the rock because then a bunch could come out and just drip everywhere. So do that on the side if you can. And I'm filling in that green. And actually, this time, I'm going to make these tiny little dots green as well, as if they're leaves. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I continue with the color depending on my mood. Now I just dot those. Okay. So by now, they're dry enough to go for the second layer. So I'm going to pick this orange to do another dot in the center of this yellow. If you can see, I had to push down a little bit just to get the paint going more. Tiny bit. I don't push it all the way down. Gotten used to it a little bit. I've made my mistakes of pushing too hard and then it running everywhere. And then I'm going to take this light blue. So what I try and do, just so it pops a little bit more, is do like a light and dark color on top of each other. Like these got really kind of spazzy in terms of color, so you'll have to play with the amount of colors. I do like it better if I do dots with a more variety of paints that I have. A lot more of a variety of color, but for this video I'll show you how to use with, I'm just using the paint markers. So from there, I'm going to do dots, and I'm going to keep each of these next dots on top of the pink, and I'm going to put them towards this the edge of the dot. So you can see the orange dot is in the center of the yellow versus the blue dot is towards the side of the dot, and I put it towards the center, each one, instead of doing something like this. I'm going to take the darker blue to the next layer. Instead of doing this blue, I'm going to do on the outside edge of those circles. So this blue is starting to run dry a little bit because I haven't used it in a while. So I suggest doing it on somewhere, just pushing it down. I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to do it closer so you can see. Just dabbing it. See how it goes in? So the more you push it and hold it down, the more the paint runs. So sometimes if you do it too much, too fast, too long, it starts spilling out. In the very beginning, they come and these tips are all going to be white, and you have to do that until it starts running. But then once it starts running, you don't have to do it as often. Just really when you're starting. This one's a little bit drier, so I'm pushing it down a tiny bit to get it going. So you can see the inside of the circle versus the outside of the circle. Now if you're doing several layers of circles, like this one, I put all of the second dots towards the middle. See, the second dots on top are all towards the center. I just want to make sure to give you the option. When I do really big ones, which I don't have an example because I sold them, I do all of them, the second dots towards the center, and then once I get out about 3 or 4 rows of circles, then I start doing them on the exterior. So we're getting there. And now I'm going to do, sure, I'll do a red. I'm going to do a quick red dot on, again, the exterior edge. And I wouldn't switch them back and forth. Like, I wouldn't put this one in the middle and then on the edge, because then it starts being too much. And these smaller ones I do like when they're all on the inside edge. I'm just showing you for this particular practice options. So that's that. Now I don't have 2 color greens, so normally I would take another green and put dots. Well, not normally. Like this one, I took this green and I made dots along the stem to go along with the theme of the dots, and I used a very thin tip brush. I also got these from Walmart. These ones came in at, let's see, FOLKART, trusted for quality, best for fine details, gold TAKLON, TAKLON. And they come with several of them, these tiny ones. But I used the thinnest one out of this package. So there's several in this bag. I forgot how many it comes with, and it doesn't even say on the package. Oh, 10 pieces, so some of them have already been removed. I use the tiniest small too. Okay, so instead of using this green to do the dots, because oftentimes there's yellow and actually even blues and such in leaves, to make it more dynamic, I'm going to just put some yellow dots. Comes pretty close. I try and space them out pretty evenly. And if I wind up doing it really thick in one spot, I try and make it look like it's, oh, see, there it is. I gave you the example. I pushed it too hard. And there it goes. I did that on purpose just to show you what happens when that leaks out. So that's that. I'm gonna grab very quickly a tree that I did to show you the dots on that one. So you could do the same thing and make it more complex, like something like this. And if you could see the beginning of the dots that I put in there, all head towards the center. But then as I go up and around, they start going to the outside. So that's an example. I did the brown first on this, and I kind of just drew out the tree. And then I started from the center, and I worked my way up and around here. Then I just made some spirals. So this dots, I started off with the green paint, and then I darkened them with dots using these type of paints again. However, I just wanted to show you some techniques and what you can do with these. When I'm done, I spray them with a acrylic gloss spray to seal them, which I do know is weather resistant because I've had these rocks outside in the rain and they've been perfectly fine. So that's that. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel. These will be hidden. Some of these will be hidden in the Cook County and Lake County areas, so watch out for videos if you live near for where I hide them. Thank you. Have a good day.